Hello all, myself Professor Sonali Pawar from TSSM Bhurabai Sawant College of Engineering and Research, Nare, Pune. Today, in this session, we are going to see one more assignment from Laboratory Practice 2 subject. The title of this assignment is the study assignment on unit and integration testing. Learning objective of this assignment is describe the concept of unit and integration testing. Outcome of this assignment is after the completion of this assignment, student will be able to write the test cases using unit and integration testing. Now we will see in detail what is meant by unit testing. Unit testing, it is the smallest piece of the software that can be tested in isolation. It can also called as the unit is nothing but modules, components of the system. A complete structure of a system is divided into the small elements and it is taking the smallest element of that particular software design and try to test that smallest unit. Unit testing is concerned with the functional correctness of the standalone modules. Let's take one example, the example of the calculator. So calculator is what? Calculator is a system used to perform few arithmetic operation. It is having different components like addition, subtraction, division, multiplication and so on. When we select a single component of a calculator, suppose we are selecting the addition component or addition element of the particular system and we will test it in the separation irrespective of the another operations of that particular calculator system, then we call it as unit testing, that we are going to perform the unit testing on the addition component. Now we will see another example of web-based application. The application contains a registration form. See this sample registration form, it contains the different fields like the first name, you have to enter it in text field, last name, date of birth, gender, we have here we used a checklist box, then country, email ID, phone number, password. So multiple components are listed in this registration form. So all these fields are called as the components or the units of this particular form. Now I will show you how to write the test cases for this registration form. So from this registration form I am considering only one component or unit from this registration form, that is the phone number field. Okay, now we'll take how to write the test case for this. So here I am going to have the requirements for that particular mobile number field. So what kind of requirements I am going to have for this mobile number? The first requirement I am going to have that the phone number field should accept the only numbers. Second requirement I am going to have is the field should accept the numbers up to 10 digit only. So these are the two requirements I am going to have for the phone number field, and we are going to write the test cases for these requirements. Here I am going to have the template to write the test cases. The template contains the test case ID. Here I have to give the test case unique test case ID number. Next is the test case scenario description, that here I have to specify why I am writing this, what is the motive to write this particular test case, like the scenario, what scenario it is going to be get covered with. Next here I am going to write in test case description that what exactly I am going to perform in this particular test case. Next the steps, how we are going to perform testing. Then if any precondition is there to reach that particular test, then I have to mention it here. Then I have to mention here the input test data. Then again what expected result I am going to expect from this particular test case. So we are going to start with, so in test case ID field I am going to write test case. Here we are going to write the test case for phone number, so I am using it phone and I am giving the 01, that is the one number, that is unique number for my test case ID. In test case scenario description, I am going to write the description. The description of my test case is to verify the phone number field functionality as it accepts number as a input. Okay, this is my scenario, that the particular phone number field should accept the number. Test case description is enter numbers in phone number field. This is the description that I have to perform, that I have to add the phone number in the phone number field. What step I need to perform? The step I need to perform is that first step is that open the valid registration form. Next step that I want to perform is to enter phone number in the given field. Enter the phone number in the given field. Next, I want to click on a submit button. Submit button of that particular registration form. So these are the steps I have to perform to check the functionality of my phone number field. So what is the precondition? Precondition is that the registration form should be the valid one. So my precondition is it should have the valid registration form. Precondition is that it should have the valid registration form is open. Next, the input data. What input data I am going to enter? Because we have written that we are going to input the numbers in this particular field. So here I am going to write some numbers. Okay, so this is my input data. So when I am entering the numbers into that particular phone number field, so what is expected output of that particular thing? That it should accept my numbers. Okay, because we are currently considering only this test case, that the phone number field should accept only numbers. So here I am giving an input the only numbers. So what is my result? The phone number field should accept entered data. So this is what my expected result is. Okay, so this is how I have written the first test case. Now we will write one more test case for this second test case. So here I am just changing the test case ID. My second test case is to verify the phone number. Entering here I am entering the alphabets in the number field. So same steps I'm going to perform, that I'm going to open the particular valid registration form. Then again here I'm going to enter the phone number in a given field. Then I'm going to click on a submit button. Precondition is same, but just I'm going to change the my input test data. So what is my expected output? That it should give me the message that please enter only numbers in this field. Okay, this is my expected result. So in actual result and in status, what we are going to write? Actual result, when we are actually executing this particular test case, we are going to perform each and every operation on that particular registration form, and what result we are going to get after the executing that particular registration form with the input test data we are going to write here in the actual result. And if both expected and actual result is going to be get matched with each other, then in status I am going to write that the particular test case is pass. Okay, so here we have written the two test cases for first requirement, that field should accept the number. So here we have considered two test cases, one with positive scenario that the particular field should accept the number, so I am entering the numbers here, and second thing is the enter the negative scenario I have also considered, so here I am entering the alphabets. Now I am going to write the test case that field should accept the numbers up to the 10 digit. So again here I am going to write. So for this we are going to again change the number. Again we are going to verify the phone number field as functionality, as it should accept the number as an input. But what we have that it should accept numbers up to the up to 10 digits. Okay, so here we are specifying as an input. So here what we are going to do, we are going to enter the number in the phone number field of 10 digit. Here same I am going to repeat the same steps to perform. Precondition is same, but here I am going to give the input data as 9898989898. So the length of my input data is now 10 digit. Okay, so what is my expected result? That the phone number field is going to accept my entered data. Okay, if I want to write the test case with the negative scenario, so what changes I am going to do? I am going to give the same thing, but I am just giving the input test data with the only 10 numbers I am going to enter. So what is my accepted condition is that the particular field is going to accept the numbers up to the 10 digit. Here I am going to enter the numbers up to the 8 digit. So what is my expected result? That the particular phone number field should not accept the entered data. Accept the field should not accept the enter data, and it is going to give me one message, please enter the valid phone number. Okay, so this is how we are going to write the test cases for the unit testing. So in unit testing what we have learned, we are going to select only one module or the one component from that particular system, and we are going to test that particular component in isolation. We are only thinking about that particular component. So what input we are going to provide for that particular component, and what output we are going to expecting from that particular component. Now we are going to see the next part of our assignment, that is integration testing. Integration testing is the one when we perform the testing between two or more than components together, then it is called as an integration testing. So the integration testing starts at the module or the component level when the various modules are integrated with each other to form a subsystem or a system. In integration testing, more stress is given on the interface between the modules. Integration testing is going to have the approaches of bottom up and the top down. These are the two approaches the integration testing is having. Now we are going to see one by one the two approaches. Now we are going to start with the bottom up. So in this figure you are going to see that the system is divided into the subsystems like module D1, D2, module E, then module B, module C, and the final module, that is the module A. Likewise, now we are going to talk about the bottom up integration testing approach. The program is going to be get combined and tested from bottom of the tree to the top. So in bottom up, the testing is going to be get started from the bottom of this tree. So from this lower level modules, from module D1, D2 and E. Likewise, so it requires the module driver for each of the module. It put together the subtree and test until the whole tree. Each component at the lowest level of the system hierarchy is tested individually first, like module D1, D2, E are going to be get tested first, and then the next level modules are going to be get tested with. So in bottom up testing, the component driver is going to be get used. So component driver is a special code used for the integration, a routine that calls a particular component and pass the test cases to it. Driver is a calling module for the low level component. It is developed for a temporary use. It has to be get replaced when the actual top level module is going to be get ready with. We are going to get one example of the leave management system. So in leave management system, in order to approve a leave, there must be some functionality using which an employee applies for the leave. If this functionality is not going to be get developed, then at that time we have to create one driver. So the driver is this, apply leave is the driver, as it is currently not going to be get developed. So here we are going to use the driver. So driver will temporarily act as an apply leave module, and it gives input to the approve leave module. Now we are going to see the second approach, that is the top down approach. So in top down approach, modules are implemented by moving towards the downward in the control hierarchy from beginning of the main control module to the bottom side. The design, implementation and the test, the top modules are going to be get done with the help of the stub. Stub is nothing but a dummy module. Stubs are not a complete implementation of that particular module. Tests are going to be get conducted at the each component is integrated. Stubs are removed. So stubs are removed and the integration moves downwards from the program structure. Again we are going to take the same example of the leave management system. So in this example, once the leave is going to be get approved by the of that particular employees by their manager, the leave status that can be seen in the leave report. But as create a leave report module is not going to be get implemented yet, so for that thing the stub is going to be get used here. So we need to create a dummy implementation of the leave report, that is stub. So this is how the top down approach is going to be get used with. Now we are going to see the example how we are going to actually write the test cases for integration testing. So this is our Gmail account. So in this we have the two different functions. First is a, here you are going to see I have highlighted here, that is this is first functionality, that is the compose a mail, and second is the sent mail. So when we compose any mail and we provide the valid sender's email ID, then we send that mail to that particular sender. The same mail is going to be get added into the sent mail functionality. So this is how the compose mail functionality is interrelated with the sent mail. So here we are going to see how these two modules are integrated with each other, and now we are going to write a test case for this functionality. See here, this is the template to write a test case. So here I am going to write test case ID as test case. For compose field we are going to write, we are now writing test cases. So here I am putting 01 as my test case ID. Okay, here I am going to write the scenario. The scenario for this test case is to verify the compose mail functionality. So this is my description for test scenario. Next I am going to write the test case description. Test case description is that composed mail, compose a mail and send to valid senders ID, get stored in send mail field. Send mail field. Okay, now we are going to write the steps to perform. So the first step we have to perform is to open valid Gmail account. Second step is click on compose mail. Next, enter valid mail ID in to header, into the header field. Okay, once we have written the valid mail ID in a to field, now we have to click on send button of that composed mail. Now precondition we are going to write here, the valid Gmail account means the account with valid user ID and password we should have. Once we have, then we can open that particular account and we compose a mail. So valid Gmail account should be there. Okay, now in input test data I am going to write here just to enter valid email ID of a receiver. Just so you can write any valid email ID as a test input data that the particular mail is going to be get sent to that particular receiver. So when we are going to write the valid mail ID into the to field of that particular composed mailbox, then what is expected result? That mail gets sent successfully to the receiver's mail ID and also get stored in sent mail field. Okay, so this is the expected result when we compose a mail and send to the valid receiver. Okay, so in actual result, what we are going to write when we are actually executing this test case step by step? So whatever the result we are going to get after the actual implementation, we are going to write here. If both these results are going to get matched with each other, then here we are going to write the status as pass. So this will represent that the test case for compose, that is the test case compose 01, that is the 01 test case of the compose functionality is passed. So this is how we are going to write different positive scenarios, negative scenarios for this